What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us. Welcome back to Thankful Thursdays, where we share some incredible testimonies and the things that God has done in our lives. My name is Isaac Oates. This is Shiloh Temple, Stack Productions. And here today, we got my good friend, my big brother, deacon, musician. He could do your taxes. He'd take care of your money. He'd do a little bit of everything. My brother, Tyrone Spencer.
Appreciate you, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for joining us.
No problem. No problem.
So, before we get into your Thankful Thursdays, we always got a one guy to go.
All right, let's do it.
Always.
Let's do it.
And we've been doing music and movies the last couple rounds, Doc.
Okay.
So I'm going to twist it up a little bit. We're going to do chocolate.
Chocolate?
Chocolate. Something near and dear to my heart.
Okay. For sure. All right.
We got 4. One got to go.
Oh.
We got Snickers.
Okay.
We got M&M's.
Jesus.
We got Butterfingers. We got Twix.
Oh my God. Are you for real?
One's got to go. Only one, brother. Can't keep all 4. Don't be stingy.
Oh,
Be selfish.
snap. M&M's is my favorite candy.
Okay.
Snickers is my favorite candy bar.
All right.
Number 2 is Butterfinger. So I gotta go with Twix. Twix gotta go. I'm gonna get my head chopped off of that, but yeah.
Sidebar. If you haven't tasted a dark chocolate peanut cluster, let me tell you, Doc.
Peanut cluster Twix?
You go to Costco, you go to Sprouts and get you a little half pound. I probably shouldn't be telling on myself, but welcome, brother Tyrone. Welcome.
Appreciate you, sir.
Just tell us about yourself, man.
I grew up here at Shiloh since I was about 8 years old or so. When I got out of high school, I left to move to Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay.
Out there, started out school,
Where'd you go to school?
Alabama A&M.
All right.
Started
All right,
off
dope.
there.
The South.
Didn't finish there. I eventually got into the workforce because I had got an apartment while I was there. Got into the workforce and didn't finish. So I ended up going just working. And then after that, that's when I met my ex-wife.
Okay.
We met through a mutual, well, he was my friend, and it was her uncle. So I was always at his house and seeing her all the time and, got interested in her and, wanted to try to pursue her. So I let her know, hey, if you ever want to talk, if you ever want, someone to conversate with, I got you.
All right, hold on. Let's go back right quick. What year is this? You left the school?
I left for school in 99.
99, okay.
Yeah, left for school in 99.
Where'd you go to high school?
Come on, man. Morris High Tigers, baby.
Oh, Morris High Tiger, okay.
Morris High Tigers.
God bless you.
No.
You made it, huh? You made it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Morris
so this
High
is
Tigers.
98, 99.
98, 99. Graduated.
What made you go all the way out to Alabama?
I wanted something different.
Okay.
I always heard about the South, always heard about the black colleges in the South. And it was everything that I heard. It was, when I was in high school, I filled out a survey. And the survey said, what kind of college you want to go to, all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to, I put on there, I wanted to go to a black college.
Cool.
Where it was co-ed, in the South, all those things. And Alabama A&M sent me an application. I got applications from other places.
Nice.
But I got, and most college applications 5-6 pages long, and they cost like $50, $60 for the application fee. So Alabama A&M sent me a send me an application. It was one page.
Quick to it. You
It
coming
was
to
one
know.
page, and it was $10. And I had $10 in my pocket. I said, oh, yeah, this is going down.
That's where I'm
This
going.
is going down. So I filled it out, and they accepted me, and I was able to go on, scholarship and loan and everything like that. So I made my way down there, try to pursue my bachelor's degree in accounting.
Okay.
Eventually got into the workforce, so it allowed me not to finish because I ended up getting an apartment. I was staying in the dorms before and then ended up getting an apartment. So in order to keep up the apartment, I had to work. So I had to choose, am I going to go to school or am I going to work? So I had to work to keep my apartment, which allowed me to not finish school at that particular school, at A&M.
And
so,
how long had you been there since at this time?
Probably about 3 years now,
Okay.
3 or 4 years.
So this is about 2001.
Yeah, about 01.
Okay.
Yeah, about 01 or so. After that, I had found a church home there.
Shout them out. What was in
Oh,
there?
Hope Community. Hope
Okay.
Community Church
All right.
in Huntsville, Alabama. 1111 Pulaski Pike in Huntsville. Yeah. Bishop Charles Rogers was the pastor. Came in. When I left here, I was the drummer here. And when I got there, they needed a drummer. So
Okay. Look at God.
God made a way.
The gifts will make room.
Yeah, came straight in, started out as a drummer.
Okay.
And that's where I met, a multitude of friends. And that's how I met my ex-wife. Her uncle was a real good friend of mine. I played for his wedding. He asked me to come play for his wedding, and we became close, became very tight. And she started coming around. That was her uncle. So
Okay.
she started coming around, and I seen her, and I thought she was very attractive, and shot my shot, as you could say.
Kobe.
I shot my shot and just, let her know that, if she ever wanted to talk to someone, I'm that guy. You know what I mean? And, just kind of, finagled her a little bit, let her know that she was beautiful, all that kind of stuff. You know how we do.
All right. Jesus.
And,
name. All right.
Yeah. And
You're right.
so, just kind of left it at that. She was like, okay, like, whatever. And one day, I'm a night owl. I go to bed real late, no matter what day it is. And she was too. So she said she told me that she was scrolling through her phone, trying to see what she could call because she was up and wanted someone to talk to. So she scrolled through her phone and found my name and
All right.
and remember what I told her, that, I'm up anytime. And she
Jesus.
called, and I answered. And we talked or whatever, and just really got to know each other, really started becoming close. And before you know it, we started catching interest in each other. And after that, we went through the road of becoming married. We did, do some things wrong
Okay.
in the beginning. So it did kind of I ain't gonna say really mess things up, but it, I would say we didn't necessarily do it in the right way. But eventually we did get married after it was a short courtship, probably less than a year.
From the time you guys started dating to
the time we got married.
Was a year. Okay.
Yeah, about a year or less. And before we know it, here we are going down the aisle, we're getting married. And
What
my
was that
thought
like
was,
for you? What was that switch? What was
that
that?
was
kind
it
of
was
shot?
a big switch. But I had my thought was I knew I loved her, knew I wanted to be with her, and you try to have that sign that says she's the one, So I went to the jewelry store, and my credit was shot, like shot. And I went to the jewelry store trying to get a ring.
At 21, you was shot.
My stuff was shot. Credit was shot. So I'm like, okay, I'm finna go to this jewelry store, and if they let me get a ring for her, she must be the one. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my thought. Like, she must be the one.
God clearly worked a miracle for
right.
me. All right.
So,
got to be her.
Got this ring. It was a nice, about half-carat ring. It was nice. Like, It was ready. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, that's the one I want. The lady was like, well, okay, we'll try to get it for you. That's fine. And I was like, it ain't gonna happen. So I was like, whatever. And I waited. She came back. We got you approved. What? What? Oh yeah,
She was giving out rings that day, huh? They
yeah,
was just
that day. And I was like, oh, she gotta be the one, bro. She gotta be the
it.
one. Because there's no way. With my credit score, and you let me get this ring?
All right.
Man. So I got it, and I was like, man. And I told her best friend, and I showed it to her. And her best friend automatically was like, oh, we finna do this now. And I was like, no, I just was showing it to you. I ain't trying to propose to her now. No.
Yes, sir.
And she was like, yep. So she went and told her. And, like, she didn't tell her, but she was letting her know that, you know, he got something he wanted to tell you. And I was like, dude, you just, and this is at church. So everybody in the sanctuary is like, starting to pile around, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm on the spot.
Put you on the squeeze. got no
Put me on the spot, and then I proposed to her, and boom, there it was. And she said, yeah. We had the moment of the crying and the cheering, and
was it real tears?
Oh,
it was real.
Yeah,
okay,
she was
I be
crying.
thinking they be having the tears.
It depends,
but it's okay.
But yeah, yeah, she was crying, and it was great, like a wonderful thing. So. That was cool, and then we went into the before that we knew we had wanted to marry each other, and we decided, okay, let's go on a fast and let's do a prayer and see how this is gonna work. Okay. So we went and did that, and trying to hear from God, and when it was all over, we came back together and was like, okay, what did you hear? And she was like, nothing, and I was like, and she was like, what'd you hear? And I said, nothing. So we just took it as, okay, well, let's just do it, I guess. You know what I mean? Because there was nothing there that said yes, and there was nothing there that said no.
In retrospect, did you guys do any like premarital counseling or anything like that?
No premarital counseling. We had no one to lead us in a direction that we should go. No type of mentorship, nothing like that. We just jumped in, both feet, let's go. And everybody, of course you have, majority of the people at the church were like, yeah, do it. This is God's will, do it. The type of stuff. So it was like, okay, going off of that. So.
And this is, at this point, you're 22, 23?
I'm 23.
23. Okay.
23, and she's like 19.
So she's young.
Yeah, she was young, yeah.
Got you.
So, we got it all together. We had her uncle helped me out with the suit. Her best friend helped her out with her dress. We got all the ceremony together. The pastor was there. Everything was done. And the only thing which kind of bothered me was I wasn't able to bring none of my family because it was so far away. So my mom couldn't be there. My sisters, brothers, nobody could be there to be on, to be my support.
Right.
So it was something that I look back now and was like, oh, I regret that. That, it was done so quickly and not really planned to where somebody could actually be there to help and support. So in it all, I was still like, well, we still gonna do it. It's still gonna go down, boom. And before the wedding, I had 2 car accidents. Yeah, 2 car accidents.
Oh, emergency.
Yeah, right before the wedding. So the first one, I was coming across the street, and this car came perpendicular and hit me and sideswiped me. Boom, sideswiped me. And that was number 1, and it was like, whoa. So then number 2, I was backing out, and I think I ran into a pole, or I can't remember. I don't know if I ran into a pole or backed into a pole, something like that. But either way, they were both pretty tragic to where you were like contemplating your life. Mm-hmm. So, I'm thinking, okay, the devil was trying to take me out before my wedding, which was another clue to me, like, yeah, this is what God wants. That, whenever God has something for you, the devil's going to try to stop it. So he was trying to stop me from getting to my wedding. So I was like, okay. So when the wedding actually happened, I just kind of really broke down to give God thanks for allow me to make it through to this moment and be able to marry this girl that I love. And, we went into a worship. Like, it was,
Oh, y'all had one of them.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
all
it
right.
was great. So I was like, whoa, yeah, it was great. So everything was cool. And we, kissed and, had the, traditional ceremony, all that kind of stuff went through. And we were off to being married. Let's go.
So tell me about your first year of marriage. How was the adjustment? What was the transition like? You guys are both young.
Um, the the first year was definitely an adjustment. We didn't have anywhere to stay.
All right.
So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, she had an apartment. I had just got out of my apartment.
Okay.
So I went to go stay with her. So we stayed with her. She stayed with her cousin. So I went and stayed with her. So we're in this room, married, trying to, get our life started.
Okay.
So as we're, trying to, get everything going, we have to find a place to stay. And there were, she had an interest in real estate, so she would always have like real estate books. So we were going through real estate books trying to find somewhere to stay. And a lot of them were sale books. So a lot of times those books had what houses were for sale. And in order for that to happen, of course, you need credit, all that kind of stuff. I told you my credit was jacked. And hers, I don't think, was the greatest either. So it was like, okay, where are we going to stay? And she's pregnant now.
Okay. So you got your first one. This
Yeah.
is about how long in right now?
This is, well, she was actually she was pregnant when we got married.
Okay. All right.
So by this time, she is probably nice and plump. She's probably nice and plump by then. So
Nice and blessed.
so yeah. So we're so I'm like, okay, it's on me. You take on this, the quote unquote husband role and just like, I gotta find a way to provide, find a way to find somewhere for us to stay, all that kind of stuff. And long story short, I ended up finding a house for rent. And we went to that house, and the landlords were just awesome. The landlords
Great.
were great. Renovated the house for us, knew we were having a child, wanted us to just really, take on that house as our own. So we ended up with a rent to own.
It's dope.
Yeah. So the job was to, get our credit straight, get everything together to where we could eventually buy this house. That didn't work out. It was hard to try to find employment. I was in and out of unemployment. It was real hard for me to find something stable. I didn't have my degree, so I was just kind of out there, just getting what I can get, and it wasn't really helping anything. So, she would question me, what are we gonna do? And I'm like, we're gonna try to figure it out. And it was rough. I was, in and out of jobs, and it was real rough, just trying to find something stable and something that would work for us. So we.
I want to stop you right there because I feel like there's some lessons that we can kind of pull out, extrapolate from the story from here on already. So, what are some things that I think you have a young son?
Right.
What were some things that you would tell him even at that age and from your experience from 23 from that first year? What are some things you think you could teach him, or some of you just younger people who have the desire to be married?
Figure out what you want to do. Number one, figure out who you are. Figure out what makes you tick. Figure out your deal breakers. Figure out what you like, what you don't like in a person. Figure out what you like, what you don't like in a companion. Figure out what you like and don't like for yourself.
Did you feel like you had that at that point?
I didn't
in
have
time?
none of that.
Okay.
Didn't have none of that. Didn't know what I liked. Didn't know didn't know what I liked, what I disliked. Didn't know my deal breakers. Didn't have no idea. I just was like, My theory was, I got God. That's all I need. So that was my thought, and it's a wonderful thing, but it's not everything. You gotta have more. There's more to it than just that. So that's why I say figure out, because you got to deal with this person every day. You got to deal with looking at them every day, being with them every day. And if there's some things about them that you don't like, that you know is something that you can't take in a relationship, leave that person alone.
Do you think at 23, you think you would have been receptive to someone kind of helping you and maybe teaching you and being open to learning at that point?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
So I would say, if you're in your young 20s, like I was 23, start figuring it out then. Try to figure out where you are in life and where you want to head in life. To me, that's that moment where you head in that direction of, I'm becoming who I want to become. And when you become that person, then you know it's time to be married. You know it's time, if you have that desire. There's some people who don't have that desire. But if you have that desire, figure out who you are first and figure out what you want in a companion first before you try to pursue getting a companion. Because if you do it in the middle and you're married, and then as time goes on, you both figure out what you like and don't like, you may find out, I don't like her. She doesn't like me, because we didn't take that time to figure out what we want in a companion and for in ourselves.
Right.
So in your 20s, you're still figuring that out. So take that time in your 20s to figure those things out. Figure out what you want, what you need, what your deal breakers are, all those things. And then you can take that step. So that's what I would say if you're in your young 20s right now.
I agree to an extent with you. I think the maturity and getting to know yourself is definitely beneficial, especially at that age where you don't really all the way know you. You don't really know what you like and dislike, as well as your partner, especially if they're still growing and maturing. And that's something that you'll continually do even 10 to 15 years from now. But I think even as young people who desire to get married, I think it's important that we try to empower them that it's okay to do so, but you have to know what you're getting into.
Absolutely.
We have to install those values for our young people and our young couples that have the desire to get married at a young age. There's nothing wrong with it. There's some beautiful things that come in and to having a relationship and being married at a young age. But we have to empower them and teach them how to do so.
Right. And that I'm not knocking being married at a young age at all.
Right.
I don't knock that. If you feel like, yeah, I have the desire to be married, I want to be married, and I feel like I'm, strong enough and mature enough to be able to handle a marriage, then okay. But please get guidance.
Right.
I think that's more so what I need, what I mean. Get guidance on what you're going to have to deal with. Get guidance, mentorship, find other couples, find those who've been in it, those who've been out of it, those who are still in it. Find all those things in order to navigate you through the marriage process.
Right.
Because you can't do it by yourself. And what's helpful in knowing about marriage is what I said before, maturing, knowing yourself, knowing what you like, what you don't like. Those things are helpful. But you still need that guidance to guide you through the navigation of marriage. So don't jump in just thinking that, okay, I got this now.
Right.
This is what I want to do. I'm going to do it. I'm 27 years old. I'm finna do it. Let's go. It's you could fall on your face like that. It's like being ignorance on fire.
For sure.
I want to be married so bad that I'm going to just be married and then it's going to work out.
Right.
And that's not always the case. So
For sure.
not bashing being married at all, no. But use some wisdom in your marriage.
Yeah.
And moving on into how you want to be married and how you want your marriage to work, all those different things. Use wisdom in that area.
Absolutely.
Is really what I'm saying. So.
And I think something else that you said that my wonderful lady in my life has helped me with, and just kind of having healthy examples of great relationships in your life.
Right.
and even analyzing that in your partner is what kind of examples does she have in her life? What kind of examples do I have in my
Mine,
life?
absolutely.
Those things can really help shape you, can help you, even navigate the waters. It's not going to be perfect because every relationship is
It's
different,
not.
but it's going to help you and to have a pool of wisdom around you.
Yeah.
Whether it's your pastor, if you're counseling with someone, um, just people that you can trust, that aren't going to be too nosy,
Right.
but that'll legitimately help you. Usually they're older, and let's keep it a buck. Usually they're older. They have a lot more wisdom.
Yeah.
But people around your age can help you as well.
Mm-hmm.
But just having healthy examples of relationships and can help you to, hey, stay in there, or not those, hey, I ain't doing that, girl, or nah, bro, I got to get on up out of here.
Right.
She messed around and didn't have no dinner ready that night. I got to go.
Yeah.
So just having people that can help teach you.
Right. And I would say too, in that, make sure they're teaching you balance.
It's good.
The balance between the spiritual and balance between the everyday life. Those things are important to where a lot of times we think when someone actually did talk to me about marriage, they went straight to Bible verses, and that's cool.
Right.
Appreciate that. But I think a lot of seasoned married people don't want to quote unquote spill their dirt. And looking back now, I believe that the dirt is, your trash is someone else's treasure.
Right.
So being able to know, what did I do, what did I do when she made me mad?
That's good.
What did I do, or what do you do when she, does something out of the ordinary? You know what I mean? When you feel like she's nagging too much, what do? You know what I mean? And a lot of times that doesn't require scripture. A lot of times that requires your experience. Let me hear about how you took care of that. Because you've been in the game, there's people who've been in the game 30, 40 years.
Right.
And every day wasn't a Bible day.
Right.
So tell me, other things that you've done as well, and not just the spiritual side. And I think most of the time in church, we get a lot of the spiritual side. And like I said, it's okay, but there's more to it than just the scripture every day. So
Right.
If you could find someone that's able to put their trash and put it out there to say, okay, yeah, I did this too. And not only did I pray, but I also did this too.
Right, for sure.
So yeah.
And that goes around. There's real people.
Yeah.
And the Bible speaks of seeking wise counsel, and we're saying the same thing. I don't want to reiterate it too often.
Yeah.
But just seeking wise counsel, and those people know how to apply the things that they've learned. Know how to apply not only the Bible, but how to apply the experiences,
The life portion.
the life lessons that we've learned.
The life lessons and portions of it too.
So let's jump back in. So where did things kind of get murky and things kind of go south?
It went south when we moved into our new house. We had a moment where we were actually on a high. I went back to school. When I got my degree, she started in real estate. Like, we were like, okay, we on our way. It's finna, we finna go.
Jefferson's. Like,
Yeah, we moving on up. And we got our credit, up. And before you know it, boom, we finna buy a house.
That's great.
And it's like, oh man, this is great. Yeah, we finna buy a house. Let's go. So by that time, we had our second child. So it was like, yeah, this is definitely needed.
And this is how long in? What's the time frame?
This is around 20. My daughter is 12. 2010.
Okay.
Right around 2020 when we bought a house. Yeah. Because my son was born in 05. That's when we got married. So we got married in January 05. We had my son in July. We had my daughter in 08. And then we moved into our brand new house in 10. So she was like 2. Yeah. So we moved in our new house. Man, everything was going great. And I got dismissed from my good paying job. I was dismissed from there. And then everything just kind of went downhill from there because there was no way to recover. It was hard for me to try to get back on my feet from that. So I wasn't waiting or, I didn't really know how to pursue a job the way I do now.
Gotcha.
So I was taking whatever, and it wasn't enough to cover the bills. It wasn't enough to cover, anything that was going on money-wise that we need to take care of. Because when you go from apartment to a house, everything's on you.
Right.
So if you don't have the money to cover it, it just doesn't happen. So we had, things broken that we couldn't fix. We had got behind on mortgage payments, all that kind of stuff. And before you know it, the house, we had to find assistance to help with our mortgage.
So it was a financial strain that kind of came.
Big financial strain. And it just started to take the toll on us because we were battling with, she was looking at me to be that provider, to be that, you cover everything. Like, you should be able to pay for this house. And if you can't pay for this house, basically what kind of man are you? And it was like, wow. So I was stressing myself out trying to find a way to look like this Superman to her. And it wasn't working. And the more it wasn't working, the more I was getting down on myself. And then she kind of seen my low and wasn't happy with my low. And there was no source of buildup. It was more like, okay, you're in this rut. You're basically by yourself in this rut because I'm looking for you to make this happen. And if you can't, then I don't know what to tell you.
So in the midst of this, so you kind of had the financial strain with your unfortunate loss of a job. You started taking things off that you kind of weren't covering the bills and things like that, and kind of took a toll on a relationship. Was there any help? Did you guys kind of seek any counseling or any help from the outside to kind of mend the relationship at this point?
In fact, what was crazy is we started a counseling session with our pastor before we got married.
Okay.
And it never fully developed because it ended up getting cut short because we end up having our marriage, the wedding, closer to date than what it was supposed to.
Got you.
Just to for financial reasons, and I believe because we were trying to get things ready for our child. Like I said, she was pregnant when we got married, so we had to kind of speed things up. So we kind of cut the counseling session short. After that, we hadn't had counseling since. So we're on year 5 of marriage and never had counseling. So we're basically in this on our own.
Right.
And we're going by, what we thought was right, what we thought would work, and a lot of stuff wasn't working. So that's where it went awry. So, feelings and emotions, all these different things played a huge part. We had arguments, we had disagreements, we had fights, we had threats of each other. Just it was bad. Like
How
it was real bad.
How did your relationship with God kind of come in with it? Did it take a hit, or how did that help? Or
Because the emotions were so high, God was never there. Because we were so defensive. So if she came at me, I would get defensive. If I came back at her, she would get defensive. And there was no okay, we need to seek God together type of thing.
Right.
We need to do this. We need to seek God to see where we need to go. What's our direction? What do we need to do? You know what I mean? To try to, rectify the situation. Right. And there was no involvement at all. And I think, to me, because the counseling wasn't there prior, because the spiritual things wasn't there prior, it really messed things up. Really messed things up. So it was a big boiling pot of flames. Like I said, there was a lot of disrespectful talk, a lot of disrespectful actions that were done that just totally threw everything off.
And what kind of effect did that have on you? You know, professional, you know, mentally, emotionally.
Messed me up because I was feeling like I was failing. I was feeling like I can't hold a family together.
Gotcha.
I can't sustain a family. I can't sustain a household. And you know, as a man, that's the crushing blow. You know what I mean? To feel like you have no control over your household. Like all chaos is going on in your household and you don't know what to do. You don't know what to say, but you know how you feel and it's not a great feeling.
Right.
And you want to try to, you know, show your kids how great you are. You want to show her especially how great you are. Because, you know, she chose you to be a life partner with her and you're failing. Like, you know, you're about to lose a house. You're about to, you know, lose cars. Like, you're about to lose this stuff. And it's a feeling that you don't want to, like, you know how people say it's a feeling you don't wish on your enemy?
Right.
I don't wish that on my enemy, that type of feeling. Because it damages who you are, it damages your worth, and it damages everything about yourself that you thought was good goes right out the window.
Right.
And you begin to change your outlook of, you know, based on what I'm seeing, you know, based on, you know, the way she's reacting to everything, I'm failing. And it's the worst feeling. I just felt like a total failure, felt like very less of a man, and there was nothing I could do about it but just feel like, yeah, that's me.
Wow, that's quite a place, to say the least. I can't even imagine. I'm so excited to hear about where things turned and where God took you from here, even at this point. And I know you guys are going to watch with us. Stay tuned. Part 2, Thankful Thursday. We're going to hear the rest of this incredible testimony where God brought Brother Tyrone from. Thankful Thursday. Just tune in for part 2.